So I haven't done one of these in 6, 7 months. I don't even know. Last time I done one of these was my full Blu-ray collection. Before that, I did a Marvel or an MCU, a non-MCU movie collection, and a DC Universe movie collection. And why not just do my Pixar one? Because I said back when I did my Blu-ray one, those ones aren't going to stop. I'm still going to do smaller versions, and I haven't done it. And since that was before lockdown, and now that Ireland is in its second lockdown, let's actually continue what I said I'd do 6, 7 months ago and do my full Pixar Blu-ray collection. Okay, so I keep all my Pixar movies in chronological order, and by that I mean since the release order. So starting with Toy Story in 1995, right up until onward, which is of course 2020, and hopefully Soul gets a Blu-ray release. I'm not 100% sure on that, but hopefully it actually does, because my Pixar collection will feel quite incomplete then without it. But to start things off, got a 4K steelbook of Toy Story. That's our front, that's our spine, and that's our back. And then the inside is Buzz and Woody flying, if I remember correctly, which, yes it is. I'll show you this. Look, when these came out for pre-order, straight away jumped on it, because if you don't know, I'm a massive fan of Toy Story. I go between this, Toy Story and Shrek for my favourite animated franchise. Depends on the day, depends on the week, but sometimes it can be Shrek, sometimes it can be Toy Story. And for that very reason, I have 2 copies of Toy Story, both steelbooks. This one here is not a 4K, this is just a normal Blu-ray, but I just love the actual art design. And it's fine, and then the inside, it's just, well, behind the disc, just both. So I've got 2 copies of Toy Story. Up until about a month ago, I had 3 copies. I had the 3D version, but then I realised I don't own a 3D TV, and I also realised I don't own a 3D Blu-ray player, so why the hell do I have a 3D copy of Toy Story? So I sold my 3D copy of Toy Story. Next up, A Bug's Life. Quite a forgettable Toy Story, or quite a forgettable Pixar movie. It's not one of my favourites, but gotta have it in the collection, so it is part of my collection. Next up, Toy Story 2. Only have 1 copy of this one, but this is, as of my last ranking, this was my favourite Pixar movie. I just love this. It's my favourite Toy Story movie. I just love the Woody and Buzz story. I love the journey Buzz takes. I love Woody developing as a character, figuring out who he is, the introduction of of Bullseye and Jesse, all that just fantastic. But there's our front, there's our back, there's our spine, and then the inside is, the cones, is the cones in. I couldn't remember there, but that's our inside artwork there. Probably the most iconic scene from Toy Story 2. I can't think of anything else that would be as iconic. Next up, got Monsters Inc. on steelbook. There's our front, there's our back, there's our spine, there's our back. For years, this was my favourite Pixar movie. Up until, I'd say, 2 years ago, Monsters Inc. was my favourite of all of the Pixar movies. And this is actually a 3D copy. Didn't actually know that. I don't have a 3D TV, so why would I need it? But that's our inside artwork. I should really watch Monsters Inc. I haven't seen Monsters Inc. in God knows how long. It's a fantastic movie. I don't know why I haven't watched it in so long. Next up, The Incredibles. Not really a massive fan of this movie, or just this franchise in general. I understand why people love it. Personally though, I didn't grow up with it. Every time I watch it, I'm like, yeah, that's fun, but then I go a year or so without watching it. It's never been one of those movies that's clicked with me, but for what it is quite fun, but I just am really a massive fan of the franchise. Next up, I've got Cars, and yes, I do, I think. I don't actually know. No, I don't. But we got Cars on steelbook, I got Cars 2 on steelbook, but I don't have Cars 3 on steelbook. I thought I did, but no, I don't. But that's the front, which I love that poster. I think the posters for Cars 1 are beautiful. Even the franchise as a whole, I've said this a few times about the Cars franchise, I think the animation is just beautiful. It's completely baffling, because Cars is one of those franchises that a lot of people hate, and a lot of people would say it's just for kids, and it just baffles me how this is one of the most beautiful franchises in all of Pixar. But anyways, so as I said, front, and there's the side, and there's the back, everyone's favourite tow truck. Inside, this is also a 3D Blu-ray. Again, I don't own a 3D TV. And then it's just Lightning Racing. I have been tempted to rewatch these movies and then do a ranking, but I haven't as of yet, because I haven't. Next up, one of my absolute favourite Pixar movies. I adore this one. is Ratatouille. This is one of the first one actually we've come across now with these slipcovers. There's been moments where I've wanted to buy the Pixar movies again just to have these slips, because I've actually got the slips for all the Disney movies and it looks beautiful together, so I am very, very tempted to get it. But then I see I've got steelbooks for some, and then some of them I got 4K copies, so eventually I think I might actually just kind of shut up Ocean, just buy them because you want them. But as of right now I haven't, because I love it. Like, that's the front, you got the number on the side, and then you got some characters on the back. Well, for this one you got his brother Louis, I don't know, and then you got some vegetables up there. So probably one day I will collect them, because I do have a few, not a lot in this collection. But that was Ratatouille. Next up is also Ratatouille. As I said, I love Ratatouille. So when I was in New York there back in February, which seems like 9 years ago at this stage, all the Pixar and Disney steelbooks were all like €10 each. So I got this for a tenner. Like, I got the Lion King 2019, which is not a movie I like, on 4K steelbook for $8. So I don't like the movie, but I couldn't say no to how cheap that was. So I ended up buying this one as well. So that is the front, that's our spine, and that's our back. And then it's Remy making his first, well, was it his, no, yeah, Remy making his omelette in the first night he stays in with Linguini. And that's another movie I should rewatch. A lot of these Pixar movies I need to rewatch. I don't think I've seen, besides Onward and I think Toy Story 2 and 3, I think that's all I've seen of Pixar this year. Actually, that's not true. I got halfway through Finding Dory the other night. Next up, I got Wally. I love Wally. I got a pop here of Wally that isn't, the whole thing was made out of something like, what was it? We got the figure is 20% recycled material. The box is 80%, and the window is 100%. When I seen it was made out of that, and as well, I wanted a Wally figure. I said to get it, but Wally, I love Wally. I haven't seen it in a while now, but I love the fact that the first 40 odd minutes there's not a word said, but that's probably the best part of the movie. It's just so beautiful, the relationship between him and Eve. I love Wally so much, and again, why haven't I watched it anytime soon? I don't know. Also, next up, I've got Up. I'm not really a massive fan of Up. Whenever you say that, everyone gets annoyed and says, that is ridiculous. But then when you kind of take it away from the first 10 minutes, it's quite a forgettable movie. And it's never one when I go, oh, what Pixar movie will I watch? Up is never on that list. And as I'm talking, like, so far, I think all of these ones now, I've said I want to rewatch it. But Holding Up, I don't want to rewatch it. And that's not to say it's a bad movie. I do like it, but it's just, I wouldn't consider it in, like, Pixar's top 10. That's not something I would put it in. Also, next up, another Toy Story steelbook. Toy Story 3, which is actually my least favourite of the Toy Story franchise, which to some people would say, what the hell is wrong with you? But to me, I love all the Toy Story movies, and Toy Story 3 is just the one that falls flat for me. But anyways, that's our front, that's our back, that's our spine, and from memory, it is the toys falling out of the box when they first get the sunny side, which I am right with. There we go. I think everyone loves Toy Story 3. A lot of people would say it's their favourite, and I can't argue that. It's a great movie, but for me, it's my least favorite Toy Story movies, and that's not even to say it's a bad thing, because it's still one of the best Pixar movies. Next up, I've got Cars 2 on steelbook. I didn't own Cars for years, and just for whatever reason I just never picked it up, and I found the steelbook for a tenner. I'm like, yep, finally, that's the best time to buy it on Blu-ray. So there's our front, there's our spine, there's our back. And then the inside, oh shit, there's actually a lot happening on the inside. Is lightning even in the inside? No, lightning is not even in the inside, but there it's just Mater and his girlfriend, who I cannot remember her name, flying around. And even though I said I want to rewatch the Cars franchise, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to rewatch the Cars franchise, because it's not really that good. But I am planning on doing a ranking, so soon enough I probably will have to rewatch Cars 2. Next up is Brave, one of the most forgettable Pixar movies. If this wasn't a Pixar movie, I probably wouldn't own this one on Blu-ray, because I don't really like it. I think the character is kind of a moan. I think she causes everything, but it's not her fault. I just don't like it. The animation style, I've said it before, it's like it's a DreamWorks movie trying to be a Disney movie, but it's a Pixar movie, so it doesn't really work. And next up is the only, well, not the only other one, but it's the next one I have with these slipcovers, which is Monsters University. This one here is Mike Wazowski. On the back, we've got Sully, and then I don't remember that guy's name, because I haven't seen Monsters University in about a year, but I really enjoy Monsters University. It gets a lot of hate. People always go, oh yeah, it's in that 3 movie slot where it goes Cars 2, Brave, Monster University. But I don't think this movie deserves the hate it gets. I think it's a lot of fun. So even though Mike and Sully, even though in the first movie they literally say they've been friends since like the 4th grade or whatever, but I do think this movie is a lot of fun. It's also got John Krasinski in a very small minute kind of scene, but they do have John Krasinski in this movie nonetheless. Next up, Inside Out. I've never been on the absolutely I love Inside Out bandwagon. I think it is a good movie. I think all the voice cast works phenomenally. They all work really, really well. But I have just never been one of those people who's just blown away with Inside Out. Even the first time I seen it, I'm like, yeah, that was fine. I've seen it a few times now. I actually got to see it in cinema, I'd say a year or two ago. But I think it's fine. The animation is gorgeous, but this is just not one of those Pixar movies that stands out to me. It's like Up, where it's one of those movies that everyone says is amazing, but it's just not really one of those movies that I absolutely love. And then this is the last one I have with the slip covers, The Good Dinosaur. This is like Brave for me, where it's just does not feel like a Pixar movie. The atmosphere and the kind of backgrounds are absolutely stunning, and that feels like Pixar. But then it's just got a horrible looking, ugly, cartoonish dinosaurs that do not blend in with the background, that really kind of take this movie down a good bit. The story itself, it's quite forgettable. I actually never got to see this in cinema because it came out, I think it was Thanksgiving in America, and whenever that happens we don't get it till January, so it just completely slipped off my radar. And this was like the first one in ages where I hadn't seen this in the cinema, and I don't really care. I don't think if this can't play in cinema, actually, no, if this played in cinema, I probably would go see it just because it's a Pixar movie, but I'm just not really a massive fan. This is one of those Pixar movies. It's never one of those movies where I'm like, you know what, I want to watch a Pixar movie. I watched A Good Dinosaur. It's never one of the ones I want to watch. I just think it's very forgettable. Next up, the one I said I was watching the other day, and it's my last steelbook in the Pixar's, Finding Dory. This steelbook, yeah, it's okay. I remember seeing this one in the cinema. I remember I came back up from Wexford where I spent all my summers, and I went up for a Comic-Con, and my auntie and my other auntie were going to a shopping centre, and I go, oh, do you want to hang out with us? I'm like, no, I'll go cinema. And I go, who you going with? No one. I'm going to go see it myself, so I went to see Finding Dory. But that's the front. That's the back. You can see Dory right there, and that's the spine. It's nothing great. Actually, you didn't even say Finding Dory on the spine. It just has Dory. But yeah, it's fine. I think if I can go back, I probably wouldn't buy it. I think when I bought this, I was in the phase of everything needs a steelbook, so I started buying loads of movies again just for steelbook. But I think originally I had it with those slipcovers, but if I could take it back, I probably would go back to the slipcover, because this isn't an actually great movie for a steelbook. And I'm just realizing as I'm saying this, I don't have Finding Nemo here, and you know what? Hold on 2 seconds, I'm going to go find out where Finding Nemo is. But first, actually, the inside artwork. I've got to show you the inside artwork for a steelbook. So, okay. There we go. That's the inside artwork. And I'm going to cut right here.
12 seconds later.
I'm back with that seamless transition. To you, it has been a matter of seconds, but to me, it's been hours of looking for this movie. That's a lie, it was right over there. I don't know how I didn't see it, but there we go. Finding Nemo, another one on 3D for absolutely no reason. I own a 3D Blu-ray, but the front, I love the spine. So you got the little bird that goes me or mine, and then yeah, I don't know why I have a 3D. This one again. Actually, no, I do. When I started collecting the movies, the only ones you can get for PIXAR Blu-rays were 3D versions, so I had to get the 3D versions. That's why some of them are 3D versions. Don't even need them, but they're 3D versions. Next one up, Cars 3. Cars 3, I think it's a fine movie. Everyone craps on it saying it's like Cars 2, and it's nowhere near as bad as Cars 2. I think one of the reasons, though, I love this as much as I do is this fact this was the first movie my girlfriend and me went on a cinema date to. It's the first time we went to cinemas together, so I kind of love it just that little bit more. And I think it's fine. I actually rewatched that one this year. I forgot I did that one, but it was fine. Another one, Coco. I love Coco. Going into it, I didn't know what to expect, because this is, as I said with Good Dinosaur, this came out back in... This one came out in Thanksgiving for them, and then it came out in 2018 back in February for us, and I said, okay, I'll go see it. It's Pixar. I knew nothing about it because I don't know how I survived 4 months without finding out a spoiler about a Pixar movie, but I went to see it and I left it, and I just loved it. Even though my last ranking, I think I had this in my top 5, because this is a phenomenal Pixar movie. There's so much heart, so much emotion. The music is fantastic, and the colors, oh my god, the colors and the animation, especially in the Dead World, actually make you want to go there because it's absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't mind if Pixar kind of made, or not Pixar, if Disney made something in one of their parks of like the Dead World, because it's just so beautiful. I would love that kind of be like a walking pathway through, or just something like that. Because we got a Cars Land, why can't you have a little, there's kind of a little area just for Coco, because it's gorgeous. Actually, Disneyland Paris has a Coco restaurant, so I didn't go into it because my girlfriend is like Mexican. But hopefully there's something in there that kind of reminds you of the Dead Land. Okay, last three. One up here. The Incredibles 2. I don't think... No, the first one is better. I'm not on this bandwagon of, oh my god, Incredibles 2 is the best sequel. It's right up there with the first. Some people even saying it's the first one. I actually thought this was... I have fun with it, but I think it's been like bottom 10 of the Pixar movies. In saying that, there's 22 movies. But I'd say it is in the bottom 10. Even the first one's the bottom 10. But this, out of the 22, I think I had this in like 17 or 18. That's not because it's a bad movie. It just shows Pixar's got so many great movies. But I just think it's kind of forgettable. I think it would have been a lot better if instead of continuing right where the first left off, if they did a Toy Story 3 and did a massive time skip. That's what I would love to see. And the fact that they just continued from where the first movie left off, I just kind of felt it was a bit anticlimactic, waiting 14 years I think it was just to pick up where I left off. I kind of found that to be disappointing. I think it would have been better if it was years later, Dash was like the villain or something. I just think it would have been better to see the actual kids growing up, seeing Jack be an actual person, actual character. Would have been a lot better than just picking up right where the other one left off. But that's just me. Hopefully if they do an Incredibles 3, which I assume eventually they will, that made over $1 billion. If they do a third one, I hope they do skip into the future just a good bit more. But next up, I got Toy Story 4. I also forgot about this one. I went over to pick up Finding Nemo. Toy Story 4 was sitting there. So this is my final steelbook. Again, I think if I could go back, I wouldn't get this in steelbook because it's kind of a bad steelbook. I don't know why. This is once again the scenario where everything needs a steelbook. I think the 4K would have been just fine. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually sold this in a few years because I really don't like this steelbook. But you got the front, you got the spine, you got the back, and then the inside. Just a little. So you know, I keep my cinema tickets and I put them in the Blu-ray when I buy them. I seen Toy Story 4 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in cinema. I think the only other movie that compares to that was Endgame, which I've seen that 5 times too. So I've seen Toy Story 4 5 times in cinema. Once by myself. There we go, that's the inside. Actually, one of the great things about this movie was going to see this one with my brother. It was the first time he ever been to the cinema and I didn't think he'd sit through it. He ended up sitting in my lap the whole time. We brought his Woody doll with him and he loved it every time. Like, it was just me and him in the cinema. Or me, him, and some other kids because it came... When did we see it? We would have seen it at the end of August when this came out at the start of June. So it was great to actually take him to the cinema. He loved the popcorn. That's just a memory of that movie. Going to see that with him. It's a fantastic memory. And I can't wait to take him to the cinema again whenever they do reopen. But last Pixar movie, only 4K actual. I got... Of course, all the Toy Story movies are 4K and Ratatouille, but it's the only 4K Blu-ray I have that actually in the case rather than a steelbook. And I love this slipcover. The actual movie itself, first time I seen it, I was blown away. I loved it. I thought the brotherly relationship was fantastic. Second time I seen it, it dropped down a lot for me. I didn't like it as much. I kind of found it to drag a bit. I thought my complaint with the story, with the fact that it took them so long to get to one place, but then they got back in no time, really stood out to me a lot more. The characters of Ian and Barley, I liked them, but not as much. The mother characters, just a lot of the stuff I loved kind of dropped down. I think if I was to re-rank it, if memory, I think I had it in my top 10. I think if I was to re-rank it, I think I'd put it around 15, 16 because it's not as good in the rewatch. Who knows next time I'm actually going to rewatch this movie, but from the last time I rewatched it, yeah, it wasn't as good. But that is my entire Pixar Blu-ray 4K Steelbook collection. I think next one probably will be my Disney classic. I'm not going to give a date on this one this time because last time I kind of bit myself in the ass because it was 6 months later. But the Pixar one, or my Disney one, probably will be my next one. Either that one or Harry Potter. As I walked up my stairs, seeing my Harry Potter collection, I think it'll be that one. Or actually, you know what? Star Wars. Once The Force Awakens Steelbook comes in, I'll do a full Steelbook Star Wars collection. But as of right now, it's either going to be my Disney classics, which is a lot, it's about 40 odd movies, or my Harry Potter collection. I don't know what's going to be. You probably don't know what's going to be. But if you want to see either of those videos in the future, make sure to click the subscribe button. Also, this Saturday is October 31st, aka Halloween night. If you want to see my ranking of all 11 Halloween movies, make sure you click the subscribe button as well so you can come back on Saturday for my full ranking of the Halloween movies. And as always, thanks for watching.